sparking the region's worst water crisis in years. Our next report tells you more.
The Euphrates River is fast declining and threatens to go extinct by 2040. There is tension as many consequences have surfaced. And to make things worse, prophecies have been found about the rivers drying up. One of them involves the release of demons long restrained under the river's depths, bringing world destruction on a massive scale. What does this mean? Keep watching to find out. The drying out of the Euphrates River has become one of the greatest bad news today, and here's why. If there was ever a river that has been impactful for generations, it is the Euphrates River. This great river has seen the rise and fall of empires, promoting the greatest of ancient civilizations known in history. Some of these civilizations include the Sumerian civilization, which emerged in the southern region of Mesopotamia around 4500 BC. The Babylonian civilization is another example, emerging in the region around 1894 BCE. Others include the Assyrian and Persian civilizations. These ancient civilizations used the river to irrigate their crops and transport goods. The fame of the Euphrates River is also well known to men of the biblical ages, as it is even mentioned many times in the scriptures. Great kings have also prospered in their nations with the river's help, and many instances exist. For instance, one of the world's 7 ancient wonders, the Hanging Garden of Babylon, can be said to have emerged with the help of the Euphrates River. This garden was a spectacular feat of engineering and horticulture, built in the ancient city of Babylon. Interestingly, the gardens are believed to have been built by King Nebuchadnezzar II in the 6th century BC as a gift for his wife, Queen Amytis, who was homesick for the green hills and forests of her native Media. The gardens were designed to recreate the lush beauty of her homeland, and they did well enough. It was built on terraces that rose up to 75 feet above the level of the Euphrates River, irrigated by a system of canals and pumps that brought water up from the Euphrates to the highest terrace before cascading down through the other levels, nourishing the plants and creating a soothing sound of flowing water. The plants in the garden included exotic trees, shrubs, and flowers from all over the world, as well as fruit trees and vegetables. Though man-made, the gardens were an awe-inspiring sight, with towering greenery and flowing waterfalls, inspiring the visitation of many ancient travelers and writers till they got destroyed by an earthquake in the 2nd century BC. Their exact location remains a mystery to this day. This is just one of the obvious possibilities involving the Euphrates River in ancient times. The river has so long endured and flourished over time that it is almost impossible to believe the present reality of the Euphrates River today. The Euphrates River is fast drying up, seemingly giving us the feel of a world-class disaster. It has been discovered that the Euphrates River has experienced reduced flow and lower water levels in recent years due to a combination of factors such as climate change, dam construction, and water overuse. The extent to which the river has dried up varies depending on the location and time of year, but there have been general reports of significant reductions in water levels and flow in several sections of the river and threats that the water might go extinct by 2040. For example, in 2021, the water levels in the Euphrates River were reportedly at their lowest level in 30 years in some areas of Syria, causing concerns for agriculture and drinking water supplies. In 2019, the river flow was also reported to have reduced significantly in Iraq, affecting the country's hydroelectric power generation and irrigation systems. And sadly, the water flow in the Euphrates River was reported to have reduced by around 50% in Iraq between 1976 and 2015. Indeed, the drying up of the Euphrates is challenging to get over. This is the longest river in Western Asia. The river originates in Turkey and flows through Syria and Iraq before emptying into the Persian Gulf. This same river is considered one of the 4 rivers that flowed out of the Garden of Eden, according to the Bible. It is a vital water source for irrigation, agriculture, and drinking. Over 60 million people in the Middle East are the site of numerous battles and conflicts throughout history, including the Gulf War and the Syrian Civil War. But in all of this, the Euphrates River does not run alone. It has a companion known as the Tigris River, which it runs with. The Tigris River is one of the two great rivers that define the Mesopotamian region, the other being the Euphrates. The Tigris River flows through Turkey, Syria, and Iraq before joining the Euphrates River in southern Iraq to form the Shatt al-Arab, which empties into the Persian Gulf. The Tigris River has also played a crucial role in the development of human civilization in the Mesopotamian region, often called the cradle of civilization. In modern times, the Tigris River remains an important irrigation and drinking water source for millions living in Turkey, Syria, and Iraq. The construction of dams and other water infrastructure along the river has also allowed for hydroelectric power generation, which has contributed to the region's economic development. However, the Tigris River faces many environmental and social challenges, including pollution, water scarcity, and conflict over water resources. But this will not stop us from saying that the Euphrates, its running mate, and its sister river, Tigris, have jointly benefited. These rivers are the primary source of water for agriculture in the region. The fertile land along the riverbanks has been cultivated for thousands of years, providing food and livelihoods for the local population. The rivers have also served as a vital transportation network for millennia, allowing goods and people to move easily between different parts of the region. These rivers have the potential to generate a significant amount of hydroelectric power, which can be used to meet the region's growing energy demands, even while their surrounding ecosystems are home to a diverse range of flora and fauna, including migratory birds, fish, and other aquatic life. Thus, these rivers have become major tourist attractions. Today, the flow of the Euphrates River has been impacted by the construction of dams, which has reduced the amount of water that reaches downstream regions, leading to environmental concerns and disputes between countries sharing the river. But as the Euphrates River dries up, it is quite probable that Tigris would also be affected, leading to a double loss. In its own right, Tigris is also fast receding. In recent years, the water levels in the Tigris River have been significantly affected by the construction of large dams upstream, particularly in Turkey, which has resulted in reduced water flows downstream in Iraq. This has impacted agricultural production, fish populations, and access to clean water for communities that rely on the river. Additionally, the Tigris River Basin, like many regions in the Middle East, is experiencing the effects of climate change, including rising temperatures, changing precipitation patterns, and increased evaporation rates, which contribute to a further reduction in water flows. Therefore, while the Tigris River is not completely drying up, it is facing significant challenges in maintaining healthy water levels and addressing these challenges, requiring regional cooperation and global efforts to mitigate climate change. Thus, the drying up of the Euphrates alongside the Tigris has been a source of concern to all, as the phenomenon will only harm the populace of over 60 million people who largely depend on them for water supply. Let's get specific now. The Euphrates River is a crucial water source for several countries in the Middle East, including Turkey, Syria, and Iraq. The river also provides water for agriculture and hydroelectric power generation. Turkey is the country that benefits the most from the Euphrates River, which irrigates up to 5.5 million hectares of its land, covering 72% of the country's water consumption. The river originates in Turkey. The country has built several dams along the river to generate electricity and provide agricultural irrigation. But Syria and Iraq also depend on the Euphrates River for agriculture and hydropower. While the waters of the Euphrates recede, their access to the river has also been limited due to Turkey's dam projects. Thus, using the Euphrates River has been a point of conflict between these countries, particularly concerning the construction of dams and other water infrastructure. The downstream countries, Syria and Iraq, have raised concerns about the potential negative impact of Turkey's dam projects on their water supply and agriculture. But while all this is happening, the people of Iraq are the most affected in this group. This is because the destiny of these people had long been interconnected with the Euphrates. And you might not have known this, But when we talk about Iraq today, we are simply referring to ancient Babylon and the Mesopotamia region, which is part of it. So, the Iraq you know today has long basked in greatness from times of old, and a lot of this can be attributed to the Euphrates. Though in recent times, the story is changing. Iraq was home to many ancient civilizations, including the Babylonian civilization, one of ancient Mesopotamia's most significant and influential civilizations. Babylon was an important city-state in ancient Mesopotamia, located in Iraq. To date, its legacy can be seen in the many archaeological sites and ruins found throughout Iraq. But why is the Euphrates River really drying out? Our modern day is almost totally characterized by science, so we will consider their views first. So far, several factors have contributed to the drying up of the Euphrates River. One of the scientific explanations for this drying out is climate change. The Euphrates River basin is experiencing a reduction in rainfall due to climate change. Rising temperatures are causing more evaporation, leading to decreased water availability. Again, several dams have been constructed on the Euphrates River, which has reduced the amount of water flowing downstream. Additionally, irrigation practices in the region have increased, reducing the water available for the river. There are also political tensions. As the Euphrates River flows through several countries, including Turkey, Syria, and Iraq, political tensions between these countries have led to disagreements over water sharing, impacting the amount of water flowing downstream. And we must remember that besides surface water, groundwater is also an important water source in the Euphrates basin. Thus, the over-extraction of groundwater for agricultural and domestic purposes has also led to a decline in the water table, which reduces the amount of water available for the river. All of these factors, individually or collectively, have contributed to the drying up of the Euphrates River. Will the Euphrates River eventually dry out completely? This is quite a delicate question, as the Euphrates River's future remains bleak. However, the efforts put in by the countries that depend on the river for water supply have also helped to contain the situation. But what are they? The construction of dams is known to be one of the most common ways to regulate water flow and prevent water loss. Hence, Turkey has built several dams on the Euphrates, such as the Ataturk Dam and the Kirpan Dam, to generate hydroelectric power and support agriculture. But this does not help the downside countries. Furthermore, irrigation techniques have been developed to help farmers in the region use water more efficiently, using drip irrigation systems or other modern irrigation techniques to reduce their water usage and increase crop yields. Iraq, Syria, and Turkey signed a water-sharing agreement in 1987 to regulate water distribution from the Euphrates. However, disputes over water allocation have arisen between these countries, and the agreement has yet to be fully implemented. Yet, efforts are being made to promote water conservation in the region. This includes raising public awareness about water conservation, implementing laws and regulations to reduce water usage, and investing in water-saving technologies. But despite these efforts, the Euphrates River still faces challenges that imply that more action is needed to address these challenges and prevent the Euphrates from drying up completely. But how does the drying out situation of the Euphrates affect everyone? It is important to note that Iraq and the surrounding countries around the Euphrates River may be seriously feeling the heat when it comes to the loss in agricultural, industrial, and economic aspects, but the entire world might not really be free from the doom that the drying out of the Euphrates River brings. If you are frightened by this statement, you should be, because things are about to get even more serious than it already is. Why do we say this? Who wouldn't be bothered when they are told that the world is about to end, and that before it does, monsters and demons will first be released into it to wreak havoc? Except your life is as terrible as hell, and you don't wish well for those that are at least happy. This news should get you on your toes. But where are we driving? Despite all the scientific explanations that may apply, it has been found that the drying up of the Euphrates River is no coincidence at all. It seems to be, in fact, the fulfillment of an ancient prophecy in one of the most serious books of the Bible, Revelation. This book is known for the fright it gives anyone that reads it. as it prophetically explains how the world will and the judgment that will come upon mankind. Now in this same revelation, it is seen that there is a prophecy that the river Euphrates will dry up, and that this will be one of the landmarks of the world coming to an end. Talk about a prophecy of doom. The book of Revelation 16 vividly states in verse 12 that the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. This prophecy was meant to be part of the seven-bowl judgment in the last days. The drying up of the Euphrates River is the sixth, very close to the end. According to the prophecy, the river must dry up to make way for the kings of the east, followed by a convergence of the Antichrist, who will deceive many and assemble them at Armageddon to fight against the Messiah and the righteous. This prophecy must be taken very seriously, as the Euphrates River is seemingly drying out in alignment with a grand plot. But before this, the scripture also states that something shocking has to happen. First, Revelation 9:14 reads, saying to the sixth angel who had the trumpet, "Release the four angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates." So the four angels who had been prepared for the hour, day, month, and year were released to kill a third of mankind. According to this prophecy, four angels who seem to have turned demons long bound under the Euphrates River will first be released upon the earth as practical world assassins. This is not surprising, as fallen angels turned demons locked up in the darkness of the deep for countless years would definitely not smile upon us on release. So we can only imagine the amount of fury they will bring to the world. Shockingly, recent reports have been made about people hearing monstrous sounds and roars from the depths of the receding waters, and we don't want to evaluate what this really means. But while we may still await the possible emergence of demons that might be released on the earth as the Euphrates River eventually dries up, other things are already emerging from the receding waters, to the surprise of all. Ancient archaeological treasures from ancient civilizations and other untold secrets long submerged in the depths of the Euphrates River are now emerging. Archaeological sites long flooded by the Tagba Dam, built in 1968, re-emerge beautifully as the waters recede. As a result, there is a revealing of long-submerged cemeteries of ancient Christian monasteries. Those not completely out of the water can still be seen looking into the clear blue waters. Magnificent holes and caverns have also been discovered in the Euphrates Valley, with the diggers unknown. But as that wasn't enough, numerous archaeological sites are still re-emerging. The ancient city of Tolbis dating back to 3,000 years ago. The 75 Italian archaeological sites dating back to 3,400 ago, having diverse cultures including those of Sumerian to ancient Rome. And the discoveries in Anbar all show the recent wealth in the secret of the Euphrates River, which is now being revealed. With these shocking discoveries daily emerging from the receding waters of the Euphrates, we would not be so surprised if a demon eventually emerged from the river. Well, you can't blame us for this line of thought, can you? As the tension continues, we can only wait patiently and hope as the events of things are gradually unraveled. We've come to the end of this video. Thank you for watching till the end. What do you think about the receding waters of the Euphrates River? Do well to share your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you found this video helpful, feel free to like it, share it, and subscribe for more of its kind.